Welcome back, tribe. Someone else linked me another episode for this small channel, Kid of Greatness. So he's saying why I left America and I'm never coming back. This should be interesting.
The reasons why I chose to leave America, and I don't plan on returning anytime soon. Right now, we are in Thailand.
Hey,
Pattaya to be Pacific. And I was just sitting here thinking, like a year ago, I was in Thailand and I went back to America. And now I'm back in Thailand because the quality of life in America is absolutely abysmal now. You cannot live in America. Inflation is way too high. From the state I'm from, New Jersey, rent runs you, especially northern New Jersey, rent is going to be plus $2,000. Now let's think about that for a second. The medium income in America is about $45,000 to $50,000 a year. Now, how can people afford to spend half of their annual income? We're not even including taxes yet. They're spending half of their annual income in rent. And then we're not even factoring in food, electricity.
Yeah, it gets crazy. I was paying $2,600 a month for my place in Phoenix. And during the summer months, because obviously you got to run your AC or else you'll melt to death when it's 120 degrees for 10, 15 days in a row, your monthly bill on utilities was $500 plus for a couple of months on top of the $2,600. And that doesn't count the car payments and the gas and the, like what he's saying, all the other amenities that you spend. And bro, we're not going outside balling at restaurants because a nice restaurant in town, like Steak 44, Ocean 44, I think it was called, would run you $300-400. Nah. Meanwhile, here in Romania, my place cost $1,000 a month. It came fully furnished. I can walk to 5-star restaurants, and the restaurants cost me $80, not $400-500. And I eat food that's on par or better than the 5-star places in America. My coffees here cost $2-3. And they're better than anything you can get. I looked all over the United States. I've been all up and down everywhere. Most of the coffee is dog shit, even in the roastery places that they have. It's like battery acid bullshit. Here I can go to a corner place and for some reason, the coffee is like on a comparable level to my top best places I've ever been to in the United States. It's insanity. The difference in quality and food alone and how cheap it is. And to go get a car here, to go places, the only thing that's expensive, honestly, that you'll spend more on is gas. America's got cheap gas compared to like the rest of the world. That's it. But to live day to day, groceries, fruits, veggies, eating out at restaurants, doing things like renting a boat to go whatever on the lake or in the sea, shit like that, traveling, like going to Greece, for example, since I'm here in Eastern Europe, going to Greece or Sardinia or other parts of Italy or Switzerland, it's a couple $100 to fly there. You're there in a couple hours. Renting a hotel or whatever, super cheap, bro. Less than $100. You could do it easily. Like to have world-class amenities, world-class locations where Americans dream of going, right? Like Greece and stuff. A couple $100 to get there. As opposed to the thousands you would spend to get to here from America. Or even shit, I remember just driving across the highway, guys. Those hotels on the highways, I forgot what they were called. We're asking $120 to $150 a night for a hotel. You know, the ones in the middle of the highway, in the middle of nowhere, the La Quintas and the Holiday Inns. You can get a really nice place here for that price, like really nice place with service, private bars and restaurants and shit like that in a beautiful location. They charge the same as that hole in the wall Holiday Inn Express in the middle of nowhere. That's just used as a stop for people traveling. Until you see it for yourself, it's hard to believe the difference. The hard part is to bring your Western salary overseas. Or if you're retired, you have it already set up. Or if you're on your pension early, say like from the military or police, those guys, I talk to them all the time. They go overseas young and they're good. They got money coming in and they just live their lives freely, stress-free.
In America, you have to have a car, especially like in New Jersey. You're going to need a car to get around. So you got a car note, add an extra $600 to $1,000. Now, look, you have $3,000 gone already of your income. Mm-hmm. There's no way you can survive. But if you come to a place like Pattaya, Thailand, you can get you a nice apartment for $200 to $400 a month. And you could be right here on the beach. Like right now, I'm on Pattaya Beach. You can have a water.
Yeah, so I live in a high-end luxury area and I'm paying 1,000, and that's because this building is brand new. But literally a street or two down I could walk to, there's places for 400 or 500 a month, which is more normal. So imagine only paying $500 a month, bro. Imagine that. I won't even get it to the dating side because I've talked about it nonstop on this channel. He might mention it too, but golly, is dating a treat out here. Women treat you with respect. They value your time. They appreciate that you took them out on dates. They thank you for going out with them. Oh my God. I would never, after getting a taste of what dating's like overseas, never, ever. I'd be celibate. I'd go my own way in America fully if I had to come back.
Waterfront property for from $200 to $400 a month. That's not possible in America, Canada, UK. It's not happening. Also, it's just the people out here are happier. What I realized when I went back from traveling the world, because I've been to Tanzania, I lived in Thailand, where we are right now. People are more happier outside of America. And I was thinking about this, and then I realized why. America is just one big business. If you really break it down,
Nailed it.
America is a business, and your status symbol is your income. That's why when you meet people, or people always saying, oh, I make six figures, I make high six figures. But you never hear people saying stuff like, I'm really enjoying my life right now. I'm really happy. You can make a bunch of money in America. That is true. But at what sacrifice does it come making that money? I know a lot of people who make six figures plus, and they absolutely hate their life. And I met many people around the world from Africa, Asia, who live off of about $2, $3 a day, and they're absolutely content with their life. Of course, they will want a little bit more. Who doesn't want more? But these people are happy. They're not like, oh, I need this new Porsche. I need this. I need to get this promotion so I can make $250 instead of $200,000. I feel like back in America, we sacrifice our life for a carrot at the end of the road, which is retirement.
No, it's even worse than that. It's the hedonism and the consumerism, the materialism, all wrapped into some demonic bullshit. We don't even wait for the carrot at 65. People are literally living for that car, that jewelry, those new shoes, that new bag, the new video game, the new whatever that they can get their hands on. It's like, it's not even keeping up with the Joneses in terms of the old school American dream. It's metastasized into something much worse, much more short-sighted. It's insane how much Americans are coping with and living through day to day, that mediocrity, the grind, through their material possessions. Like, it's all worth it. I'm throwing my life away, grinding and working for nothing. No light at the end of the tunnel. But as long as I have my trinkets, it's okay. But if I could just get this promotion in 6 months, it's okay. In 1 year. Okay, in a couple years. But at least I just bought this new car. At least I just took out this loan to go on vacation. I was in Greece 6 months ago. At least I did that. It's worth it. Slaving away, bro. Time is clicking. Click, 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 non-stop. The hand on the hourglass, it keeps moving non-stop. The sand pours non-stop. Father Time is not waiting. And you wake up, dude, 30 just passed, 40 just passed, 50 just passed. And Americans are like, where has my life gone? A lot of them say that stuff like, dude, watch out. Only Americans really speak this way. Oh, dude, my 30s, they go by in a flash. 40s, even faster. One day you'll wake up 50. Where the fuck did 20, 30 years go? People overseas don't talk like that. Life's a little bit slower. Family matters. Connections matter. Experiences matter. Relationships matter. But in the West, it's the complete reversal. We throw away all that stuff because we rather be rich in material possessions than rich in people and connections and family. We're poor when it comes to these other countries and connections and family. We're absolutely dead broke in the United States in those. But we're rich in material wealth. And material wealth doesn't bring you happiness past the surface level. That new trinket will only keep you happy for so long. And in the rest of the world, they're poor in material health, but rich in connections and family. And so they have a deep, meaningful happiness that carries through them their entire lives. That's why these people in these poor countries seem so happy. They have so little, but wow, they're always smiling. Yeah, dude, they have an incredible family structure, friend network, groups, everything, all this stuff around them, extended family. The shit that we crave on a deep level, bonding, connection, intimacy, they have that. In the West, we have none of that. That's why people are so fucking miserable and on edge. and medicated with so many pharmacologicals just to keep sane day in and day out. It's a sad state of affairs, dude.
And once you're like 65, what are you really going to be able to do? You can't move around like you used to. You're going to be tired. And half the people are not even going to make it to 65 with the stress levels and the toxic diet that exists in America. Now, America will always be my home, and I'm happy I'm American, but I cannot recommend people living there long term. And it doesn't take that much to get outside of America. Like I said, $2,000 a month can get you a good standard of living in a bunch of countries. You can live here in Thailand for $2,000 a month. You can live in Kenya for $2,000 a month. You can live in so many countries off of $2,000 a month, which would be impossible to live off of in America. And that's another thing I want to tell people about is people think that you need to have all this money to live outside of America. Like, that is not true. There's plenty of people who are teaching English online. They're YouTubers. They're doing all different type of things to make a living. So it's not back in the day where you had to have like a 9-to-5 to sustain yourself. Now there's so many avenues to make money. It just makes sense to leave America. And I'm not just talking about America too. You can include the UK, Canada, all the Western countries are really pricing themselves out of the market for normal people. Yeah. Only the upper echelon are really enjoying the barons and the spoils of lives back in the West. But yeah, this is your boy K Greatness. And if you like this type of content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe.
All right, links to the video in the description below, as usual. This guy says, every time I return to the USA after a trip abroad, I notice how tense, stressed, unhappy Americans are. I told you. The new American dream is to leave the USA with American money. Boy, oh boy, is that true. In America, you either exploit or be the exploited. The United States is a corporation, not a country. America is just one big business. So true. And the older you get, the more you realize that. Humans are just numbers here. Someone else said, facts. I left 3 years ago and I reside in Africa, and my quality of life is so much better. I no longer take meds for depression and lost weight. Damn. We are moving back to the Philippines. We cannot wait for retirement anymore. I miss the warmth of people, food, and a slow-paced life. This guy says, this is true. I watched both my parents work here in America all their lives. They both got cancer and passed away. My dad was a Navy vet, served in Desert Storm/Desert Shield. One of the first batch of Filipinos to join the U.S. Navy. Worked all their lives for the man, not even being able to enjoy their full retirement. What kind of life is that? Why do we have to wait till retirement to enjoy our families here in America? A lot of us aren't going to make it to retirement. We are slaves. Jesus. Bro, America is a cornball, boring kind of life. I just spent 2 years overseas as a trial run to see if I would miss America, and I wasn't homesick one time. I've been back in the USA for 3 months, and the loneliness is physically making me sick. I was never lonely overseas. I decided to sell my house and cars and never look back. I'm 51. At my age, I figure I have 25 years left if I'm lucky. It's time to start spending money so I can make sure I die with nothing. I had friends who saved their entire life and ended up dying in their early 60s with no kids, no wife, and a ton of money in the bank and stock market. They work and invested their entire life to leave it in the banks. Damn. I left America in 2022 and never coming back to settle unless it's an emergency. Life in Korea, my rent is $640 a month for a 2-bed and 2-bath with heated floors. I have a car, but I don't need one in Korea. Public transportation is great. No gun violence. Safe to walk outside at 3 a.m., even for women. Yeah, the heating floor thing's so cool. It's like standard everywhere in the rest of the world, I guess. I have heated floors. That's some opulent luxury in America. But here it's like standard to have heated floors. It's like for them, it's a cost-cutting thing. It's cheaper than to run actual heating when you need it for the winter. You could just heat all your floorboards, and it just like heats the rest of the place up slowly, but for cheap. It's actually so cool. You have some amenities that are absolutely considered like opulent and luxurious in the United States, but it's like standard here in the rest of the world because it's like a cost-cutting measure. I was living in Vietnam for $1,400 USD a month and only working 18 hours a week. I had the highest quality of life I've ever had and wasn't being strained or stressed from work or affording rent and food. Yeah, man, that feeling is so incredible to live overseas and actually see the money in your bank account add up dramatically instead of living paycheck to paycheck. I cannot explain to you guys how de-stressing that is, how relaxing it is to not feel like you're 1 month away from losing everything. And I know so many Americans are living in that state right now. That alone will reverse age you. Honestly, there's so many expats here that I've met that like life has been breathed into them, including my parents, by the way. When I brought my parents here and retired them, they got color back in their face. They're happier, they're smiling more, they're laughing more. My mother joked that she hasn't had a need to cook something in the house in like weeks. They just go out to restaurants and eat all the fresh food I mentioned earlier. My mom used to cook every day for us. One, because it saves money, but two, it's just very traditional Eastern European thing to do. But they were laughing with me talking about, haha, I don't remember the last time I cooked since we've been out here. We just go eat at the restaurant downstairs. Walk, bro, walk. They don't need to drive anywhere. They walk. They live on the beach. They live steps from the beach in a penthouse overlooking the Black Sea. It's insane, the quality of life. Yeah, America is realizing money doesn't buy happiness. And someone says, this is the new wave. Quality of life over everything. I agree completely. Thoughts, guys, for you that have traveled, for those that haven't, experiences overseas, tell some of the guys here. I think it's worth planning. If you're young or old, it doesn't matter. Plan to take a few months to go overseas and just see. You won't spend a ton of money. Thailand is an incredible first stop for a lot of Americans. The amenities are on par and the costs are like 1/5 of what you would pay in the United States. And then you can go to the rest of the world, wherever you want to visit, but at least get a taste of what it's like. And that'll galvanize you to make a real permanent change potentially. And I wish you guys nothing but the best. It was the best decision I made. I would only come back to the United States, like I said, if it was to be a multi-millionaire where you're living off those fruits of your labor and isolated in that sense in a mega mansion. And even then, I don't know if it's worth it because you could get far more with that kind of money in these other countries. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how everything changes and if it makes sense. Some of you guys may meet women overseas but still work potentially in the U.S. So you got to bring them back, and maybe you'll be living part-time here, part-time there, depending on where your woman's from. It just is so many variables, guys. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is you got to see it for yourself. You got to be there in person, toes in the sand, smelling the air, eating the food, talking to the people, and see how you like it. Because we could show you a million things I could walk around and show you, but it just doesn't have the same effect until you're there, physically feeling it for yourself. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm done rambling. See you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.